Over-fertilization. It's a mistake that many gardeners, even the most experienced ones, make at some point. You add a bit more fertilizer thinking it will help your plants grow faster, greener, or stronger. But instead, the opposite happens. Leaves yellow or brown, growth slows, soil becomes hard or crusty, and sometimes entire plants wilt or die. The truth is, more isn't always better. When your soil becomes saturated with excessive nutrients, especially synthetic ones, the microbial life suffers, the pH balance shifts, and root systems become overwhelmed. If you're dealing with the aftermath of chemical overload, don't panic. The damage is reversible. In this guide, we'll dig into how to recognize the signs of over-fertilized soil and, most importantly, how to nurse your garden beds back to health naturally and effectively. The first step to reviving over-fertilized soil is understanding what exactly went wrong. Chemical fertilizers, especially those high in nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium, can accumulate over time if not used carefully. Instead of being absorbed immediately, they often bind to soil particles or leach into surrounding areas, altering soil structure and chemistry. A common telltale sign is a white crust on the soil surface, often caused by salt buildup. Another is wilting or burnt-looking leaves, particularly at the edges. This fertilizer burn occurs when plant roots draw in too many minerals at once, pulling moisture out of their own cells and causing dehydration. So if you're noticing plants that seem to be drowning despite good watering, the culprit might be hidden right beneath your feet. Once you're certain the soil is over-fertilized, the most urgent task is to flush out the excess salts and nutrients. Deep watering is the most straightforward solution. Use clean, preferably rain or filtered water to slowly and thoroughly saturate the soil. This process, known as leaching, helps wash away the soluble salts from the root zone and deeper into the subsoil. Depending on how compacted or poor your drainage is, you may need to do this more than once over a few days. Avoid flooding your garden though. Slow and steady watering is key to allowing nutrients to be carried away without drowning your plants or destroying soil structure. After leaching, the next focus should be on restoring life to the soil. Chemical damage often kills beneficial microbes and fungi that play a critical role in nutrient cycling and plant health. Compost is your best friend at this stage. Incorporating well-decomposed compost into the top 6 to 8 inches of soil does more than feed your plants. It reintroduces vital microorganisms that rebuild the natural balance. Compost also acts like a sponge, helping the soil retain just the right amount of moisture and nutrients while improving texture and aeration. Another excellent addition to damaged soil is biochar, especially if you're aiming for long-term recovery. Biochar is a form of charcoal that once charged with compost or compost tea becomes a microbial magnet. It helps lock nutrients in place while providing shelter for beneficial bacteria and fungi. Apply it carefully, a little goes a long way. Cover crops, often overlooked in small-scale gardening, can be a game-changer in restoring soil balance. Fast-growing legumes like clover or vetch not only protect the soil from erosion, but also draw atmospheric nitrogen through their roots. Their roots break up compacted soil and create pathways for air and water, while their foliage, once chopped and dropped, decomposes into nutrient-rich mulch. A single growing season with a well-chosen cover crop can radically change the health of your garden beds. While amending the physical and biological properties of your soil, don't ignore the importance of pH balance. Excessive fertilizers often shift soil pH toward the acidic or alkaline extremes, locking out certain nutrients from plant roots. A simple soil test kit or pH meter will help you identify the current level. If your soil is too acidic, below pH 6, you may need to add lime in moderation. If it's too alkaline, above pH 7.5, sulfur or organic materials like pine needles and coffee grounds can help bring it back to a more plant-friendly range. Keep monitoring pH throughout the recovery process. It's a vital indicator of your soil's responsiveness to your efforts. As your soil starts to regain structure and microbial balance, resist the urge to fertilize again too soon. Instead, adopt a feeding strategy that's more in tune with nature. Opt for slow-release organic fertilizers like worm castings, fish emulsion, seaweed extracts, or compost teas. These not only release nutrients gradually, but also nourish the soil food web, helping you avoid the cycle of over-fertilization in the future. Think of it as feeding the soil, not just the plant. Healthy soil will always find a way to support thriving plant life. For those dealing with container gardens or raised beds, the recovery process is similar but on a smaller, more controlled scale. Because pots have limited drainage and soil volume, over-fertilization can be even more severe. Leach pots thoroughly, allow them to drain well, and consider replacing a portion of the soil with fresh, compost-rich media if damage is extensive. Moving forward, always dilute liquid fertilizers beyond label instructions unless plants show clear deficiencies. When in doubt, underfeed. It's easier to add nutrients later than it is to take them away. Restoring chemically damaged soil isn't just about fixing a mistake. It's an opportunity to create a more resilient, self-sustaining garden environment. By focusing on soil health instead of quick plant results, you'll find your garden becomes less dependent on inputs and more abundant over time. The soil, after all, is a living system. And like any living system, it can heal with the right care. Keep in mind that recovery isn't instantaneous. It may take a season or more to fully bring your soil back into balance, especially if the damage was severe. But with consistency, regular composting, minimal synthetic inputs, good watering practices, and organic amendments, you'll not only revive your soil, you'll make it better than it was before. Before we wrap up, remember that every gardener has setbacks. Over-fertilizing doesn't mean failure. It just means you're learning the complex, beautiful rhythm of soil and plant life. Your garden is a living classroom, so take notes, observe how your plants respond, and share what you learn with others. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Hydro Haven, where we break down the science of soil, plant health, and sustainable gardening in ways that make sense and get results. Share this video with a fellow gardener who might be struggling with tired or damaged soil. And as always, keep growing smart and keep your hands in the dirt.